Do you have too much to do and not enough time to do it? This is a pep talk for university students who are figuring out how to manage their time. Think of each class as a meal. You'll be delivered a lot of food for thought for you to digest and get some nutrients from. In this class, we have learning outcomes that are the nutrients. This knowledge and skill set is what you're paying your big bucks tuition for to get out of this class. If you think of the filling of that sandwich as contact time with your instructor, 1 credit that you signed up for means 1 hour a week of contact time or lecture time. We have synchronous online meetings. For each hour that you spend in lecture, you have to plan on 2 hours outside of class to do enough reading and writing to keep up. Each credit that you signed up for means 3 hours of your life every week. And how many classes are you taking? And how many credits is each class? 10 credits is the minimum to be considered full-time, and that means 30 hours a week. That looks like high school. You went about 5 days a week. You spent 6 hours there. That would be 30 hours. And every day started at the same time and ended at the same time. College is different. Those 30 hours can be distributed throughout the week in different ways, and you probably are going to be taking more. 15 credits is common. 45 hours a week is what people estimate that you would take each quarter in order to finish in 4 years. You might have a 5-credit class, a 3-credit class, 2-credit class. This class is 4 credits. In addition, you might have a job, and of course, you have to arrange your own transportation. So what does your week look like? This class is 4 credits. That means 12 hours a week, 4 hours in lecture and 8 hours outside of class. However, instead, we're going to only meet twice a week for an hour. And what that means is that 2 of those hours will become outside of class. You'll watch recorded presentations. You have a total of 10 hours outside of class that's up to you to schedule. So what does your schedule look like? You start with the givens. We are meeting Tuesday and Thursday at 11 o'clock. And then you might plan on some time on Monday to get started with the readings and to be sure that you're ready to talk about it on Tuesday when we clarify those things. And while it's still fresh, you probably want to go ahead and finish the writing that is always due Thursday at 10 o'clock every week. You have another hour to account for that you might do for fun on the weekends, because this is, after all, a media class. And so there might be something that's you may as well watch with other people. We have this class. Perhaps your 5-credit class meets every day at 1 p.m. Your 3-credit class might meet just once a week in the evenings, and your 2-credit class also once a week, and it might even be on another campus, so you might have to arrange for your transportation. It's common for people to also work. If you're, say, at the food service, this shows you with 2 breakfast shifts and maybe 2 dinner shifts every week. Let's add the flex time now. We'll start with this class, of course, and you'll notice that I added some healthy salads at your lunchtime every week. You do have to plan on your own healthy life-work balance here. And we'll add the other classes, the given part, when you know that you're going to be meeting with them, your work time. So your schedule may end up looking like this. It's important for you to schedule when you're going to do that outside time instead of just waiting for the time to appear, because there's just not enough time in your day. Look at how much time is left, not much. And I've added in some meals here, and sometimes you're doing double duty. You'll be reading while you eat or have your coffee. In addition, I hope you plan on some exercise so that might be able to combine that. If you're on a treadmill, you can probably do some reading at the same time. You have a busy life here. I didn't even mention laundry and shopping and all those other things about living independently. So here you are. This is an online class, which has its own challenges. And there are also some reasons why you as an individual might feel vulnerable. Even though you've got good plans and you fill your schedule, the reality is sometimes you will struggle for some reasons that are not in your control. One thing we know is that most students are non-traditional now. Many are older. Many have already got families because they are independent and not depending upon their parents. They're probably working. Many students are transferring from another institution, which means they have to learn a whole new way of doing things. Also, we have a lot of first-generation students at this institution. That means that you're the first one in your family to come to college. And that means you don't have people at home who can help you figure out things for the first time. Something else we know is that not everybody learns the same way. Here are the examples of disability categories that are used to identify students who need extra help in K. One thing we know is that at least 13% of all students probably need some sort of support. This has nothing to do with intelligence, so there's no reason why you wouldn't go to college, but it has everything to do with needing some accommodations to make sure that you can understand and you can produce evidence of your learning. There are other reasons beyond your control, for instance, poverty. We know this is going to affect people's executive function. And it's not just for poverty, but if you have neurodivergent or if you have experience with some trauma, it's going to affect your general capacity to be successful. Speaking of trauma, we're just coming out of a pandemic, and we have noticed a generalized anxiety among a lot of people who don't usually experience it. If we see some struggles, being late or absent a lot, a pattern of missing work, or seem to have trouble concentrating or learning, we don't think this is a reflection on you. We think that it just means there's some problems that need to be solved. The trouble is, if this is a new struggle for you, you might think that if one thing goes wrong, the whole thing is going to be a disaster. So we don't want you to be just imagining the worst case scenario, but instead reach out for help, because this is a supportive campus environment. There are many services on campus intended to help, whether it's academic or non-academic reasons that you're struggling. We also know that you can take care of yourself, and the more you do this, the more likely you are to see each challenge as a victory rather than a chore. This is also a supportive course. After each of our meetings, you'll be writing something, and you have an opportunity to let me know what's going on or if you need help, and you can always reach out and email. So we're off to a good start. Do the math, plan your schedule, but trust us, we want you to be successful.